and economic expansion.
That could most likely have an impact on surgeries.
Coming up on Ignite News, McMaster University opens its doors to a new transgendered center.
Brought up the attention that we should have one on campus.
Mohawk students are excited about Blackberry's new Z10 smartphone.
Cool feature, it's like has like the Blackberry FaceTime, like the BBM. Looks pretty cool.
And Hamilton warms up with its annual Soup Fest.
A lobster poutine soup.
All this and more on Ignite News today.
Good morning and welcome to Ignite News for Tuesday, February 12th. I'm Chris Luckett.
And I'm Brittany Medeiros. Here's what's making news.
The public will not be told the details of why Hamilton Police Inspector David Dole was suspended and charged with 14 counts of misconduct. Retired OPP Superintendent Robert Fixes closed proceedings to the public to protect the female complainant from professional and personal harm. Dole faces 14 Police Service Act charges on misconduct. Some of these include having sex on duty, possessing pornography on his work computer, using police computers to get a member's personal information, and using police surveillance equipment to spy on someone for personal reasons.
North Korea launched its third nuclear test today, once again defying United Nations orders to stop building nuclear weapons. The North Korea government broadcasted the detonation of a miniaturized nuclear device at an underground test site. This was several hours after the seismic activity was detected by North Korean, Japanese, and American monitoring agencies.
Ontario's new Premier, Kathleen Wynne, has announced her cabinet picks, and Hamilton MPP Ted McMeekin is among them. After 15 months as Minister of Rural, Food and Agricultural Affairs, McMeekin will take the reins at the Ministry of Community and Social Services. Wynne will fold McMeekin's old position into her own Premier duties. McMeekin has received positive backing from many anti-poverty groups in Hamilton.
The City of Hamilton will have more control over the downtown casino project than previously thought. According to OLG President Rod Phillips, City Council will have the chance to veto the casino twice. Council can say no to the project right away or wait until OLG chooses a location. City Council has voted to support Flamborough Downs as the best location for the casino. If the city says no to the LOG, it will lose $5 to $7 million in revenue for the city. Thousands attended.
Fest was held at Hamilton Convention Center, pitting 24 local restaurants against each other for a good cause. The annual event is run by Living Rock Ministries, a Hamilton organization dedicated to helping at-risk youth. Executive Director Alan Craig has noticed each year's Soup Fest has gotten bigger.
We had 8 restaurants the first year, raised $7,000 the first year, and then so you can see the change just in the figures. Now we've got 24 restaurants, I believe. It's become a real Hamilton community event, and people just know us through Soup Fest now.
In addition to the many soups on hand, patrons are also treated to mingling with mascots and performances by local bands like The Saints Are Coming. Multiple awards were given out, but Pete Metropolis, the kitchen manager of the Thirsty Cactus, had one particular one he was gunning for.
Most creative is kind of the category I kind of like to go for, but I'm happy to place it all, for sure.
Each attendee was encouraged to vote for the soup they love most, and everyone had their own favorite.
I always really like West Plains Bistro soups.
West Plains Bistro.
This is the Indian split pea. The bison soup.
A lobster poutine soup.
Thirsty Cactus and Coketown Wins.
All the proceeds from Soup Fest will go towards Living Rock to help youth at risk in Hamilton. For Ignite News, I'm Chris Luckett. Friday's snowstorm alone cost the city millions. Almost all of city and contractor trucks and plows were deployed after the 35-centimeter snowfall. The storm cost Toronto over $4 million. Hamilton city officials could not give an exact cost estimate, but said Hamilton was definitely in the millions. Hamilton's winter control budget this year is just over $23 million, but is still being reviewed by council.
Hamilton School Board trustees got their first look at the board's funding strategy for 6 projects across the city. Over the next 5 years, $19 million is slotted to go to 2 schools, G.R. Allen and Dalewood. the ministry pledged $41 million to the board. Other expected projects include roughly $34.5 million for a North End High School, $27.4 million for a South High School, and roughly $20 million for renovations towards Saltfleet and Highland renovations. Some board members expressed concern about the spike in spending for only 2 of the schools. In the end, the board passed the spending strategy with a vote 4-7.
The Pope has decided to resign from his position. Ignite News reporter Nicole Scholler spoke with the Catholic community about his decision.
Announced his decision to resign at the end of this month. Many members of the Catholic faith seem to be understanding of the Pope's decision.
Well, the news came somewhat of a shock, but it wasn't an entire surprise, seeing that he wasn't in the greatest of health. And I know that another time, a couple of years back, there was talk of him wanting to retire or resign, but obviously it wasn't his time yet.
Not really surprised because, this is part of history. It's been done before, so it's one of those things that sometimes history does repeat itself.
I was glad I was sitting down, actually, because it was quite a shock to hear that, because in this day and age, you wouldn't hear of that, I mean, it's okay for like the kings and queens to resign, but they usually don't either. They're sort of in the same group because they have a lot of work to do, and maybe he felt that he was finished his work and it was time for him to think of himself.
One of the main reasons the Pope resigned from his position because of health concerns. Could it be time to consider a younger Pope?
It might, because all the priests we've had, all the popes we've had have, reigned for many, many years, and they have been in their 80s, and that's quite an age for someone doing, a very important job.
Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Nicole Scholler.
Quebec Cardinal Marc Wallet announced that he is running for Pope. After a surprise resignation by Pope Benedict XVI, Wallet has become one of the leading candidates for the position. At 68 years old, Wallet is the ideal age for Benedict's successor. The election will take place in the Vatican in mid-March.
With Valentine's Day coming up, we took to the halls. With Valentine's Day coming up, we took to the halls to see what you are doing.
What are your plans for Valentine's Day?
I'll probably be taking the lady out for dinner, buying some flowers for her, and having a quiet evening in.
I'm doing nothing. I'm working for Valentine's Day, but probably I'll spend the whole night with a boyfriend. And we'll just have a beer, drink, talk about love. I don't know. I'm not sure about it yet. I'm not sure.
I'm going to have a nice glass of red wine and watch The Expendables, the brand new one, of course.
I'm actually just going to work and going to school, and that's all.
Nothing, but hopefully it has nothing to do with PDA.
I'm going out for a surprise dinner with my boyfriend.
Home Depot has confirmed that executives will receive Apple's iPhone to replace their old Blackberries. BlackBerry's shares slipped 4.5% after the switch. This will not change only to apply to Americans, but Canadian executives as well. BlackBerry has been struggling to keep its smartphone user base in recent years against a number of competitors.
Blackberry Z10 offers the latest in cell phone technology. Blackberry Z10 offers the latest in cell phone technology, but are people interested in switching to Blackberry? Neil Reyes joins us live in the newsroom. So Neil, what are people thinking?
Well, Chris, people are really excited about the release of the Blackberry Z10 as BlackBerry is gaining in popularity. A good smartphone is becoming a necessary part of student life. With BlackBerry's completely revamped OS X operating system now available in Canada, students have even more options when in the market for a new cell phone. Mohawk student Emmanuel Johanna currently uses an iPhone 3G, but says the new BlackBerry Z10 has features that really make it appealing.
The cool feature it's has like the Blackberry FaceTime, like the BBM, looks pretty cool. Also, it's a Canadian company, so it'll help boost that up.
Canadian loyalty is a common theme among BlackBerry users. Mohawk student Brian Raftis recently upgraded his BlackBerry Bold to the Z10.
I knew the Bold I had was a little more, it wasn't the best phone out there. It wasn't the worst, but like I could tell I needed an upgrade because it was kind of lagging, and the BlackBerry 10 just seemed like a far superior phone to anything that was out there. And it was still with BlackBerry again. I'm brand loyal to BlackBerry, so.
While many people are excited about the latest from Canada's smartphone maker, CNET's Jessica Dolcourt says it more or less levels the cellular market.
I think that people who are happy with where they are will not feel compelled to switch over to BlackBerry 10 OS. There's a lot of parity. I don't know for most people if there's one killer feature. They're very strong on email, a place they've always been strong. They're very strong in offering security. Another place they've been strong to reach out to your social networks and check multiple email accounts from every single smartphone. You're going to be able to do that. But it's the quality and the details, I think, that will draw people to one particular operating system and to one particular handset over another one.
For Ignite News, I'm Neil Reyes.
Now let's take a look at what's coming up in weather, entertainment, and sports.
Coming up this week in weather, we're expecting a mix of sun and clouds with a little bit of snow. Check out our Ignite Weather for more updates.
Jamaican Olympic champion runner Usain Bolt is getting ready to play for the Celebrity All-Star Game this Friday. All this and more coming up in your entertainment.
The Toronto Maple Leafs won their 4th straight game last night against the Philadelphia Flyers, but the game came at the expense of starting goaltender James Reimer. All this and more coming up in sports.
And here's a look at today's top stories. North Korea launched its 3rd nuclear test today, once again defying United Nations orders to stop building nuclear weapons. Friday's snowstorm alone cost the city millions, and Ontario's new Premier, Kathleen Wynne, has announced her cabinet picks, and Hamilton MPP Ted McMeekin is among them. The cold weather continues this week. Let's check in with Charlie for your weather update.
Thanks, Chris. Here in Hamilton, we're currently sitting at 1 degree Celsius with mostly clouds. Toronto's looking the same, sitting at 1 degree above zero and cloudy as well. In Niagara Falls, it's a little bit colder at 0 degrees and overcast. London is going to get some light snow and is at -2 degrees. Right now it is cloudy in Windsor with a temperature of 0 degrees. Looking into the next 24 hours in Hamilton, this evening the temperature will drop to -3 degrees and remain cloudy. Overnight, it's going to get even colder at -7 and not lose any cloud cover. And tomorrow morning, we'll see some cloudy periods at -7 degrees. Taking a look at the 5-day forecast, Wednesday we'll see a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 0 and a low of -8. Thursday, expect to see a few snow flurries as the temperature goes from a high of 2 degrees to a low of -7. Friday, the clouds will cover the sky, and temperatures will drop from a high of -1 to a low of -7. Moving into the weekend, it will be getting colder with a high of -5 and a low of -7 on Saturday, being mostly cloudy. And Sunday will drop even further with its high of -7 and a low of -14, though we will see a mix of sun and clouds. And that's all for me with weather. Let's head to Paula for your entertainment update.
Thanks, Charlie. The Grammys drew in almost 30 million viewers on Sunday. The big winners were Adele, Black Keys, Fun, who won Best New Artist and Song of the Year for We Are Young, and Gautier, who won 3 Grammys, including Record of the Year for his song Somebody That I Used to Know, featuring Kimbra. Album of the Year went to British band Mumford & Sons. Other winners of the night were R&B crooner Frank Ocean, Kelly Clarkson, Jay-Z, Rihanna, and Beyonce. Jamaican Olympic champion runner Usain Bolt is getting ready for the celebrity game for the All-Star Weekend on Friday in Houston, Texas. Other celebrities include comedian Kevin Hart, Neo, Josh Hutchinson from Hunger Games, Trey Songz, and many others. Queen Latifah and Samantha Harris will be the assistant coaches. Let's take a look at what's happening on campus.
Hey guys, this is Charlie with your community calendar. Mohawk College is offering free nicotine replacement therapy for all students trying to quit smoking this month as part of Leave the Pack Behind. For more info, head to the health clinic at room C109. Students have one more week to give Mohawk feedback with your KPI surveys. Students can fill the surveys out online. And McMaster University drops by to offer a degree completion presentation to Mohawk this Wednesday at 12 in room I-209. That's all for me with Community Calendar. Let's head back over to Paula in the studio.
Sylvette Dupart and Prince's host, Gail Vaz Oxley, will be at the Mohawk College McIntyre Theater next Tuesday at 7 p.m. in the evening. Tickets can be bought online at the Mohawk College website for a special price of $20 for students and staff. The regular price is $25 and $30 at the door. That's all for your entertainment. Let's pass it over to Rachel for sports.
Thanks, Paula. The Toronto Maple Leafs won their 4th consecutive game, beating the struggling Philadelphia Flyers 5-2 at the ACC. The game was further indication that the Leafs were the victors in trading Luke Schenn for offensive powerhouse James Van Riemsdyk. JVR scored his team-leading 8th goal against his former squad and has put 10 points in the last 11 games. The win, however, came at the expense of goaltender James Reimer, who went down with a lower body injury early in the second period. He will undergo further examination today. Sticking with the Leafs, forward Mikhail Grabovski underwent a discipline hearing on Monday over an alleged biting incident that occurred between him and Habs forward Max Pacioretty. In the third period of the Leafs' 6-0 blowout over the Habs, Pacioretty face-washed Grabovski and claimed that the Leafs center bit him in the process. Pacioretty even had a tetanus shot after the game as a precaution. After a hearing with league disciplinarian Brendan Shanahan, Grabovski was exonerated, citing insufficient evidence. The Leafs forward lives to bite another day. Shifting to the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles have restructured quarterback Michael Vick's contract. Previously one of the elite QBs in the NFL, Vick had an abysmal season, losing his starting job to rookie backup Nick Foles. Unable to justify the $100 million extension he received at the beginning of last season, Vick took a significant pay cut to stay in Philly. The new deal is essentially for 1 year, and Vick could still make up to $10 million if he meets all of his performance incentives. That's it for me with sports. Let's pass it back to Chris and Brittany.
McMaster University is joining the ranks of schools with a woman in trans center. Ignite News reporter Anna Rittens went down to check it out.
They may soon be joining 18 other Canadian universities who have their own centers for women, transgendered, and transsexual students. Committee Chair Elise Milani says such students need a safe place to share and get support.
A lot of research has been done in terms of sexual assault and violence against women and how one copes and deals with that and the services that they can go and use. And we found that there was a lot of gaps.
With the possibility of a Women in Trans Center opening at McMaster University, we checked in with students to see what they thought on the issue.
I think it's absolutely essential. I mean, we're one of the only campuses that doesn't have one, and that's a real shame. We should be looking to see what we can do to advocate for women on campus, and this is the first step.
People will say, oh, well, what about a man's center? Well, I would say personally, as a man, everywhere's a man's center. There's nowhere I feel uncomfortable. There's nowhere my rights and my privileges are being infringed upon, where I think, you know, that's not the same thing for women and trans identified people.
I think it's a really cool idea. Like, I definitely support it. But I know that we have a QSCC center, which is our career student center, and so I think that just in terms of space, it would be kind of cool to see if they would be able to work together somehow and sort of like open that up for everybody. But I definitely think it's a good idea.
While everyone we spoke with was in favor of the center, some have criticized the proposal as not being inclusive enough, because men cannot attend. Women's studies major and feminist activist Bronwyn Gent says,
the people who are interested in or have brought up the attention that we should have one on campus aren't suggesting we need this because there are a lack of resources for heterosexual, normative males. It's because there are a lack of resources for people who struggle with issues of female sexuality, transgender.
One of the committee's main concerns is treating the students as individuals with unique needs. Elise Milani explains why this is so important.
As a student union, we need to offer to the students. We can't just assume that every student is the same. We have to recognize that there are different issues in oppression and marginalization that don't embody what an average student is, because really, what is that? So we need to have some things that make people feel safe.
Organizers are still trying to find a location for the club, but they're confident it will be built sooner rather than later.
Overall, it's going really well, and we've only really been working together for 2 months, and we've gotten a lot done. So I'm kind of hopeful for the future.
Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Anna Rittens.
An 82-year-old Washington resident helped in the arrest of a runaway fugitive. Living up to his name, Terry Miracle full-out football tackled the 27-year-old man being chased by police. Miracle says that he heard the commotion while he was gardening and put himself in prime tackling position. After being tackled to the ground, the man attempted to get up but was tackled again by an officer. Miracle says that he's a bit sore, but otherwise okay. And that's all for your news on Tuesday, February 12th. For more news coverage, check out our website at ignitenews.ca. I'm Chris Luckett.
And I'm Brittany Medeiros. Thanks for watching, Mohawk.
Environmentally sustainable and economically sustainable. That most likely have an impact on